Hi everyone, Travis here and welcome to this week's Trade with Precision free newsletter. I just want to do an update on the foreign exchange majors for you. So just starting off here on the Aussie, on the monthly, we can see the monthly had pulled back to this support area, has found support and is pushing higher. And this looks like this could be the first higher low. So it could be the first signs that this monthly is starting to turn around and that we're going to see the Aussie pushing higher. Coming to the weekly, you can see the weekly has been in a downtrend, but again looks like it's formed a new higher low here and could be pushing higher. Instant rejection here of this big down red bar, instantly rejected the next week, so that is definitely looking bullish. On the daily, you can see here on the daily this very strong support and resistance line that's come through here. The daily is hitting its head up against it right now, so we could see this pause here for a little bit, if not maybe come off a big down to these old support levels here before potentially pushing on. So even though there's no setups right now on the Aussie, I'm definitely going to be watching that because I'm quite bullish on that for the week going forward. Okay, so moving on to the Euro. The Euro monthly has come down and has definitely found some support off these old support levels here. A fairly decent rejection candle and is pushing higher. Now looking at the weekly, it's come down. Longer term, we've got a bit of divergence coming in here, and I think we could probably potentially see this push higher in the longer term. But right now, what I'm seeing is on this daily, is that we've definitely got a higher low and a higher high, so we're definitely in that uptrend that I was talking about that's coming from the monthly and the weekly. But what I think we're going to see right now is that this is potentially going to roll back over, come back into this buy zone, back towards these support levels. So I think we've got a good run of maybe a couple hundred points there, back to where I think it's going to find some support again before pushing higher. Now, those who are on our paid service, you'll see that Nick is about to, or he might have already put it up by now, a video regarding a short setup he can see on this Euro. It was a PFX setup. Now let's have a look at the pound. So the pound on the monthly is still looking in a fairly decent downtrend. We've got a lower high, pushing on down. Depending if this rolls over a bit higher, it could potentially give us a new higher low, but at this point in time it definitely still looks like it's going lower. On the weekly we're still getting lower lows and lower highs, but we've had a decent pullback here. This has definitely pulled way back past the 50%, but still everything on these time frames still looks fairly bearish to me. Now we come down to the daily, and the daily starts looking a little bit more bullish, getting higher highs and higher lows on the daily here, and it's pulled back right now into this buy zone and into this support area. So I'm a little bit in two minds there. Maybe if you go down to lower time frames, there may be a setup there you can see, but at these higher time frames, they're definitely conflicting somewhat. Look at the Kiwi. The Kiwi right now is quite choppy and sideways. You can see here on the monthly, we've got a lower low, but then and a lower high, and we're pushing on down. But I think, even though that looks quite bearish, I think it's holding here, and we may see our first higher low here, and it could push higher. On the weeklies, again, it is pushing down at a downtrend still, but it does start to look quite sideways, and it is looking rather bullish. But there's nothing that I don't particularly like, even here on the daily. It's pulling right back up now into this very tight congestion zone that we've had here before between the support and this resistance level. So for me on this one, I need to see it, even though it's made a higher high and a higher low, I want to see it probably push up higher above these levels, up above 7,200 before I start getting a lot more bearish on that. Probably the least out of my favorite right now, the Kiwi. Now on the yen, depending if this turns around now, it's got on the monthly, it's got a bit of a small rejection candle started to form here. Could be like an inverted head and shoulders pattern, so we could be looking for that to push higher. Now, those who are on our paid service know that Nick made a couple of calls last week regarding the yen, has scaled into the position and is currently long, and it looks like it's still got a long way to go on this weekly to pull back up towards these moving averages. So that's still looking very strong, very bullish. And again, on the daily, still looks to be nice little double bottom here, still looks to be pushing higher. Now, those on the paid service, I'm going to show you a setup I can see on this on the 60-minute chart, and so I'll publish that for you in a second as well. Now let's have a look at the caddy. Caddy on the monthly has pulled back down into this support area and is at a critical point right now. It's right at that support, so we've got to see what's going to happen around there. Looking at the weekly, what I can see here is we're definitely still in a downtrend, but then we've become quite sideways lately. We've got equal highs here, but with a higher low. But then in saying that, we had this big green up bar, which was instantly rejected off this resistance area and was rejected last week. So that tends to look quite bearish, but is also quite sideways. On the daily, it looks quite messy, so I'm not really that excited about the caddy going forward, but if anything, I'm more likely to be bearish on that than bullish. Now, just for the last one on the Swissy on the monthly, it's been going very sideways. We've got a higher low, but then we've got a lower high, so no real direction there, but very similar to the caddy in the sense we had a big green up bar which was instantly rejected and filled the next month. So if anything, probably looking a bit bearish there. On the weekly, we're still technically getting higher highs and higher lows, but this low now is right down equal to the other low we've got here. So we've got some pretty decent support there too. So this is at quite a critical point itself. You can see we've got some resistance, support, and now it's at that support. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. You can see here I've got that line in drawn already, sitting at that level now. So I probably am more bearish than bullish on that. If it can definitely break through this strong support level, start pushing lower, I'll definitely be looking to set up, if I can see any setups there to get short on that. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a bit of an outlook of what I see things happening over the week going forward. And for those on the paid service, I'll produce a video right now on the yen setup that I can see.